The Morgan Report with David Morgan.
David Morgan of themorganreport.com for the week ending 3 June 2022. Well, another weekly perspective. I thought I would start this week with the Sound Money Defense League. Before I go to that, I just want to state that the premium service, the paid service for the Morgan Report, will be published probably tomorrow, the 4th of June. Went very deep dive on the silver market. You'll see some items in there you probably won't see anywhere else in the world regarding both sides of the silver situation as it currently stands. And then if you go back a couple of issues, if you become a premium member, we did a whole article editorial about what is the best place to be in the precious metal sector from an equity standpoint for rising costs. Because diesel's a big part of mining, so electricity, transportation, all of that stuff. So it does impact the bottom line of any business. But there's a subset of businesses that work really, really well, and we addressed that in the editorial a couple months ago. So what is Sound Money? Sound Money Explained. I wouldn't have you read this whole thing, but this is something that most people will never understand until the fiat fails, until the fraud is exposed. Sound money is a money that is not prone to sudden appreciation or depreciation in the purchasing power over the long term, aided by self-correcting mechanisms inherent in a free market system. And let me summarize that going back to the Silver Summit, I think the second year when the Magambo Guru spoke as our keynote, and he talked about the fact that a loaf of bread cost the same in 1903 as it did in 1797. And how can that be that you can have, an item like bread maintain the same price? And the answer is the value of the money remains constant, and therefore the value relative to other things remains constant. Yes, there's ups and downs, but generally speaking, prices go down over time, as we explained in the book, The Silver Manifesto, which you can buy online, which I wrote with Chris Marchese many years ago. So I do encourage you to get a bookmark on the soundmoneydefense.org. And the big news right now in the precious metal space is state laws are changing a lot of places. And it just took place in Tennessee. So this tab I just clicked shows you, Utah was there. With some of the people that started this Sound Money Defense organization, and they signed into a law that you can restore gold and silver as official money. Texas, Louisiana, at present, almost a dozen state legislatures considering proposals of the laws passed Utah, Texas, Louisiana. This is the latest. It just happened on May 29th, not that many days ago. Tennessee governor signed full repeal of sales tax on gold and silver. And you can read that. Again, it's a tab at the soundmoneydefense.org website. And also you can contribute to them. They have a donation feature if you choose to do so. I would spend some time here, especially if you're new. I think taking maybe one level up from what I normally talk about and why sound money, which I've talked about for years, but just starting with that very basic concept of, well, what does it matter? Why do I care? And as I said earlier, most people won't, and most people don't, and most people don't understand it. But once their money becomes worthless or there's a reset in the system, and they are having a continually lower standard of living, everyone will learn that lesson. And once that lesson is learned, hopefully it won't be forgotten for forever, but it probably will be, knowing human nature. All right, I'm on the blog page, and here's some of the latest I've done. I did a roundtable with Chris Martinson, Robert Helms, and Bronson that headed the whole thing. Might be worth listening to. And then, of course, last week's Weekly Perspective always has the same face on it, that tile, which you can look for if you're looking at just the wrap-up of the week. Quick rundown on the Twitter feeds. This is from this morning. The New York Attorney General warns against crypto investments amid state's push to ban mining. You can read that article, as you know, from the Crypto Conspiracy series, which are 23 episodes. A lot to digest. Certainly, I wouldn't even consider binge watching them, but you might get a feel watching 1, 4, 14, and probably 23. Regardless, we've been on that story for quite some time. This one from Zero Hedge is extremely important. It talks about cyber ops against Russia and Ukraine. There's a lot to the story. Zero Hedge, I think, did a very good job, as I think they always do, or pretty much generally do. I will be on the Money Show, and this is something you can sign up for. How to generate income from gold, something that a lot of people aren't aware of. It's really not that difficult. It's a pretty simple system, and it does work. It's been proven to work for a very, very long time. My friend Jim Lewis from Wall Street Silver, he posts, and he did this one with Kramer buying tulips. I mean, I put out something recently about Kramer. This isn't it that we're looking at, but I put out something about Kramer, and he's saying Bitcoin's going to 100,000 or something along those lines. And usually he's a pretty good contrarian indicator. I put up a tweet about his stock picks. I think it was last year. It might have been early this year. And got a lot of people that saw that tweet and retweeted it. Again, from my Twitter account, another by Tyler Durden. And this is basically the crypto bail-in. I mean, I did an interview with Stansberry Research, Daniela Cambone, and I spoke about the bank bail-ins. And as of this date, I think it has 1.7 million views. It's the biggest hit I've ever had as far as people watching what I had to say. And of course, it was pretty factual, or very factual, on the bank bail-ins. This I'm starting to consider naming the crypto bail-in, and this talks about Bank of England to rescue collapsing stablecoins. Bail them in, right? Or bail them out, maybe, if they're big enough. Where have we heard that? Too big to fail? Very interesting article. Anyone in the crypto sphere, I think, should be made aware of this. I'll probably stay on this topic as long as it's germane to not only the crypto space, but the financial system at large. And briefly, we will be changing the website landing page probably in the near future. Probably I may put this up. This is a cover photo. I don't like the photo at all, but it's with Executive Global. It's a high-end magazine. I was featured as the cover, as I just said. And it's a pretty good review of, where I've been, what I've done. It starts all the way back to 1985, where I was working as an aerospace engineer. It's all true. And of course, I was involved in commodities and the metals and had an insurance license and all that during most of that time. Anyway, the questions and answers are here. Gives a little bit more kind of in-depth of what I've done over in this column here. I started a company. It was a royalty company called Lemerit Royalties. That was merged with a refining company. They're now basically in charge of it. I'm a shareholder. I'm still on the board of directors, but I'm not the CEO anymore. Presentations all over the place. You just picked a few. I was affiliated with Gold and Silver for Life for some time. I've been on TV many times, keynote speaker, the PDAC many times. Consult, and I do that kind of on and off on an as-required basis. It kind of ebbs and flows. Alma mater is both Laverne with my finance degree and also Cal Poly San Luis Obispo with my aeronautical engineering degree. I don't want to make this too much about me. It's just that obviously the whole thing is, but the point being it's a little bit better look than the About page that we have currently on the website. So I may substitute this one for that. And this is the most recent article that I wrote for Executive Review. I just gave you my little bio from them. And this will be out in the near future. It's a PDF file, probably posted somewhere that you can open a PDF. And nothing unusual, really. Silver's analog, not digital. I talked about that. I kind of went through the history of the last 20-something years when I started on the internet talking about the merits of sound money, silver in particular. And a few questions came up and may be enjoyable. It's hard, not that hard to read, but it's obviously white print on a dark background, but and it's not available on their website yet. As I said, it just got published. It'll come out in their magazine probably in 2 or 3 weeks. So that's about it for this week. If you're interested in the books tab, just come on down. Silver Manifesto. We ship almost everywhere except Europe. Australia and New Zealand, we're sorry. It just costs so much more than the book is sold for to get it there.
Hi, I wanted to make a short video. Dave Morgan, he's become a pretty good friend of mine, and he sent me his book recently, and it is the most comprehensive treatise on silver that I've ever seen. Dave sent me some of the books that I used for my research, as reference material when I wrote my book, Guide to Investing in Gold and Silver. And this is, like I said, it's his magnum opus. It's very, very comprehensive. So if you want to know everything there is to know practically about silver, this is the book to get. It does get technical in places. It's the type of thing that I use to try and distill down into a very simple message. But if you want all the information, this is the place to go. And I want to thank Dave for sending it to me. So, I hope you enjoy it. Thanks a lot for watching the video. We'll see you next time.
So that will wrap it up for this week's Weekly Perspective. This is David Morgan of themorganreport.com.